few weeks, an internet sensation has popped up, a guy named Joe Mihalic. Joe graduated from Harvard Business School with an MBA. He owed over $90,000, and he vowed last August he was going to pay it all off by the summer of 2012, and ended up doing it 3 months early. He paid off $91,000 in 7 months. He's debt-free except for a mortgage, no student loans, no car payments, no credit card payments, had nothing to do with Dave Ramsey. This 29-year-old Austin, Texas guy is, well, he's become an internet celebrity, really. No more HarvardDebt.com. The story is touching a nerve right now because everybody's freaking out about student loan debt. Oh, students can't go to student loan debt. They're all stuck. They're all trapped. And, well, not Joe. Joe set his mind to do something different, and he did this in, pretty extreme stuff, and I can't wait to talk to him about it. So we got in touch with him. Blake got a hold of him, our producer, and I thought it'd be fun to have him on the air and talk about how you do this. Joe Mihalic, welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show, sir.
Thank you very much, Dave. I'm very happy to hear. Thanks.
Man,
thanks for having me on.
You are a rock star. This is incredible, dude. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks. It feels good.
$91,000 in 7 months. Do I have that right?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Wow. So before we go into the details of what you did and, how you pull this feat off that everyone seems to think is impossible, what do you say the key to this is?
It's a really good question. And I've been thinking about that myself over the past few months. Like, how did I get there? How did I do it? And I think for me, I didn't just take sort of a mild interest in paying this debt off. I didn't just sort of say, I'd kind of like to be free. It'd kind of be nice to not have this debt. I got actually pretty obsessive about it, and I got really passionate about where I was spending my money and what money was coming in, and I was maniacally focused on exactly where every single dollar was going and how every single dollar was coming in and what I was doing with it. So for me, it just came down to just being passionate and being focused and really, really wanting to be free of this debt that had basically become a burden in my life and sort of my own little prison that I'd created for myself.
As I've walked out with literally millions of families out of debt, I've observed that for a lot of them, the way they get out is the way they describe what you just said was they had to get pissed off about it. Mm-hmm. I'm just sick of this. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm not going to live like this. And that passion just led you to the sacrifice. So you sold some stuff, right?
Yeah, I sold a lot of stuff. I sold my second car. And I'll just preface this by saying, totally aware that I jumped into a life of consumerism and materialism when I graduated from Harvard and thought I had a pretty good salary. I definitely took things to the extreme when I started buying things. And so, yeah, the things I'm about to list are things that I probably should have never had in the first place. But I guess better late than never in terms of getting rid of them to be free. So I sold my second car. I sold my motorcycle. I had a road bike that I also sold. I sold a lot of things on Craigslist, iPod, a fan I wasn't using anymore, stuff for my motorcycle, stuff for my bicycle, old pair of reading glasses, just miscellaneous stuff that was just sort of taking up space in my house and in my life, really.
Wow. Cool. So you single?
Yeah, I'm single right now.
Okay. What did you do to create some income during this time?
So the income it was more about, I guess I got roommates, and that helps get $850 a month onto my income statement. Mm-hmm. So I found a couple of roommates on Craigslist. I think the biggest thing was just, cash flow. So I cashed out my savings. So I had about what today would be probably 7 months, 8 months, heck, even 9 months of living expenses. I got down to 3 weeks of living expenses just by cashing out an IRA I had, and then about $17K in stocks. I actually took losses on both of those, of course, with the penalty and the fees. But my state of mind at the time was I want to be free. As you said, I'm pissed off, and I don't like this debt. So between selling all those things and cashing out the savings, getting the roommates, and then just also giving up other things in my life, I was able to make pretty short work of the $91,000.
So what was your income during this time?
It was $108,000.
But in 7 months, you paid off $91K.
Yeah.
Some of this was the selling of the things, But really, what the numbers you just gave me means you cut lifestyle to nothing.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
How did you do with like clothes and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I didn't buy them. I just didn't buy clothes. And I had this, like, my favorite pair of shoes. Got a hole in them. I could have gone down to the store and replaced them pretty easily, but I just lived with the hole and just hoped people didn't notice.
Yeah.
Nobody ever really called me out on it, so.
Well, and who cares if they did? They weren't paying your bills.
Exactly.
They weren't getting you out of debt.
Yeah.
So the extreme measure you went to, did people make fun of you?
I've got a friend who at the time wanted me to go to Miami with him and Vegas and back to his hometown of Houston for bottle service and whatnot. And, every time I said, no thanks, no thanks, no thanks. And I was like, at one point I was like, hey man, let's go out tonight. I've got a flask. And he's like, dude, you sound like you work at McDonald's. And I was like, and he's sort of ribbing me about not going on all these trips with him and the fact that I was taking a flask out to bars and he was definitely the biggest naysayer of all my friends, but I didn't let that really discourage me. And he was in the minority by far.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends were very supportive and understood.
So now that you're like an internet star because of what you did, what's he saying?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, how you like me now, dude?
Exactly.
Everybody wishes they were me, and you're one of them.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Well, I did talk him out of buying a Porsche, financing a Porsche. So.
Well, that's good, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's coming around slowly but surely.
Well, it's nothing like observing someone being smart to make you smarter. Wow, yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah. So, what is your advice to people listening? Because you've seen the news, and certainly I have, and all of the how everyone's stirred up about the student loan debt. It's the crisis of the day, and that it's impossible, and these poor students are stuck, and there's nothing they can do. Now, you make good money. I mean, you make really good money, but you've got a Harvard MBA. You should. But you also had a huge freaking pile of debt, and you killed it. So what's your advice to the culture? What should the culture take away from your story?
I think there are probably two main groups of people that can use a little bit of advice. And I think the first group is students who are entering college and thinking about what programs they want to pursue and how much money they want to take out. And the banks are going to fund education. They're going to finance a person's education. And the universities are taking notice of this willingness to fund these student loans. And so they see the demand is highly inelastic, and so they're raising their costs in reaction to it.
Yep.
So students have to be very, very careful when they're looking at what programs they want to attend. They'll get the money. It's not a question of the money. It's a question of the payoff. So if you're spending, $100K to go study English, be careful with that, and maybe have a minor that might have a higher payoff, or is going to be, or will lead to a career that's in high demand once that person graduates, in case the English degree doesn't really pan out into anything very profitable, or doesn't generate a very high salary right out of the gate.
There you go.
Consider
what you're getting for what you pay.
Exactly.
Bottom
and
line.
I'm not saying don't study social work.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely study social work, but maybe be careful of what programs and where you're studying social work.
Yeah, I mean, don't spend $185,000 getting a degree to make $20,000 a year.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just it's not logical. I'm with you.
Exactly.
Joe Mihalic, thank you for joining us, man. I'm impressed. This is an impressive thing you did, paying off $91,000 in 7 months. If you want to visit his blog, it's become a big deal because he's a big deal. NoMoreHarvardDebt.com. Joe, thanks for being with us.
Thanks a lot, Dave. Appreciate it.
Be good, man. Wow, what a great story that is. Love that guy. That's fun. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.